So it's time to build a bridge and
get
get over
over it.
it. Is what it's time to
But
do.
I do believe that this is a wake up call for the Republican Party.
Yes. Yeah.
Wake up.
Okay. Okay. Can I just go
Go
there?
ahead. Well,
I'm gonna be nice.
go ahead. Be
Okay.
nice.
Understand something that you got all of these different sets of Republicans, and that's the sad thing because you have the swamp Republicans.
Yes, you do.
And with the swamp Republicans, they're sitting right along there with the Democrats. They're putting this coup in place all together. Understand that. Okay, but now you have the Trumplicans. That means the Democrats that switch to Republicans or the ones that support our president. Okay, so with us, our eyes just finally coming open to everything that's going on, Diamond.
Right.
You got people that's in power that's been there, old as Medusa. They just so old, just sitting there. They bent over and still going off of those same old laws, those same old legislation, those same old rules, doing it the same old way. It's just like now we use computer to do different things,
Right.
but they still handwriting stuff.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's time for a lot of them to really be voted out, and this swamp Republicans, it's time for them to be voted out as well because they mean our president no good.
They don't. And let me tell you what they're about to do. They are about to pump money in Florida and all of these places, you all, because they tested the waters.
Yep.
And they're going to play with our laws.
Yep.
And they're going to they're going to cry voter suppression.
Yep.
Every vote should be counted. But I'm sorry, every legitimate vote should be counted. Because if illegal aliens is voting in our system, it shouldn't be counted. If dead people are on the rosters, the rosters should be cleaned off. They should not be counted.
And everybody should have an ID.
Absolutely.
Everybody should have an ID.
If you have to have an ID to get a job, to get a job, to work in this country, you have to have an ID.
You can use that same ID to vote.
There you go.
So this stuff about voter suppression, and that's the first place that a lot of people like to go, and you have the black elitists, they like to take you right there, as if black people don't have enough common sense to pull out an ID.
Well, I was looking at the very fake news the other day, and you had a white man on there saying that it's going to disenfranchise black people.
What?
And I was so appalled, taken back. I mean, how are you demeaning black people as if we're so ignorant? We can't have an ID. I got an ID. I got a credit card. I got a library card. What the hell you mean we can't have an ID? We have enough sense to have an ID. And then I heard somebody on the radio during the midterms, well, you may not have the type of ID they want. Well, let us see what ID we need to have.
That's right.
And you make sure you have
go get it. That's right. And I remember somebody, we was on an interview, and he was saying something about people can't afford to get an ID.
That's crazy.
And I think you had mentioned to him, well, then start a GoFundMe.
Start a GoFundMe
and people, so they can get an ID.
Get an ID. But that's a lie. Well, even if you're going to, if you're getting in school, you have to have an ID. You have to be able to identify. We don't live in a third world country. We live in the United States of America, where your ass is tracked. Social security number, birth certificate. And when you get a certain age, you have to have an ID. So it is offensive when I hear a liberal who happens to be white saying that about black people. And if you black and you saying that about black people, shame on you. See, those are the ones that's back in the 60s. We're not living in that day no more. This is 2018. We finna go into 19. You can have an ID. You can get you an ID.
And buy a 40-ounce. You have to have an ID.
That's right. They're going to want to verify to make sure you're 21, especially if you look young in your age. I love when they card me.
Girl, they always card me.
I love when they card me, honey. I love. So listen, we have a lot of work to do. This is not over. This was a close call, and it was a wake-up call to the Republican Party.
Right.
Another thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to get off the subject. So when I woke up this morning, I heard something that happened in California, Orange County in California, where all of those seats flipped blue. But if you all can remember, this was the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
A lot of places was not being paid attention to.
Right.
And we was questioning that. Well, what about this? And if those seats wasn't challenged,
that's right,
by anybody, they were easy wins. Remember, we lost 40-some people in the House.
But when you have the swamp Republicans sitting there on their hands, they want to see this president fail.
Wow.
They don't want him to get a win. They won't do nothing.
I don't like that.
That's right.
So sad. So
that's
sad.
right.